Welcome back to the channel, folks. This is Jason, host of Fighting Words Financial. Welcome back to my channel for another wildly unfocused rant. Today I'm going to be talking about Nio and Xpeng, and I'm going to leave Li Auto out of the conversation for right now for a couple of different reasons I don't really want to get into. I don't really have anything negative to say about Li, but I just don't want to talk about them right now. Anyway, sold a bunch of covered calls recently. Li Auto was the only one that actually executed, and those shares were called away. And so I had some money left over and from that sale, and I was thinking about what to do about that. And my normal instinct is just go right back in and repurchase those shares if they get called away. I lose a couple of bucks usually, but generally that's how you generate income off of stocks that you're holding long term, is by selling covered calls. And sometimes you have to repurchase those shares. In this case, though, I elected to split the money that I got from selling Li Auto and to purchase my higher confidence picks in Nio and Xpeng, right? Now, I know that those stocks have not done well recently. And I have to tell you, like I've told you before, I am absolutely 100% unconcerned with short-term performance in a stock. I know a lot of people probably bought in January, February. Now you're down close to 50% on your stocks. Even if I had purchased those stocks in that time period, I wouldn't be thinking about selling right now. It's not that the fundamentals look so good with what Nio and Xpeng are doing. It's all of the pieces that they have put together in preparing for the future that look so great for both of these companies. Now, basically, neither one of them, I think, is getting the entire picture 100% correct in terms of their ability and desire to imitate the success of Tesla. And let's be clear, they are following a roadmap and a plan that was laid out by Tesla. None of what they're doing right now is really all that terribly original, other than, and you can't even say that Nio's battery swap plan is terribly original. That was actually done by a company called Better Place in Israel and Denmark more than 10 years ago. The idea failed back then. I'm not going to say it's going to fail now. I've never been convinced that that battery swap is a permanent part of Nio's strategy. But look, in other ways, they're different than what Tesla has done also in the past. In terms of the way they handle their manufacturing, they don't own any of their manufacturing. And that brings me to kind of an exciting announcement that Nio had this week. They have extended their agreement with JAC, which is their state-owned manufacturing partnership, to continue to manufacture their vehicles through the end. I think it was through 2024, maybe 2023, but I think it's through 2024. And they're going to up their capacity to 240,000 units per year for a couple of the different models. Plus, they also have that additional factory and manufacturing and research center that's being built in that same region. And I think it's called the Jinhua region. So they have a lot of things going on. So basically, between now and whenever I get that next factory produced, they're going to, by the end of the year, have a manufacturing capacity of about 20,000 vehicles per month between all of their different models, which I think is utterly fantastic. And then within a 15-month period, their new electric vehicle park, their manufacturing research park, should be open as well. We don't know exactly how much they are planning to have in the way of production, but another YouTube channel, and I forget who it was, did an interesting analysis based on the amount of gigawatt hours that are planning to be produced at the battery factory there, and they think that Nio, at the end of this process, would have a total production capacity of about 1.3 million vehicles per year. Based on my most conservative estimates of the amount of market share that they could capture, and I've said this before, I think that conservatively they're going to capture about 6% of the market, right? So that's everything in my estimation goes pretty much wrong. I still think they're going to capture about 6% of total market share in China, which is roughly 1.6 million vehicles per year. Okay, China is a huge market in terms of its vehicles, and that's based on the market size, on today's market size. They may bring more people into that middle class in the future, and so their actual market for vehicles is much larger than the numbers that I'm basing it on. So that I don't know. I've based my investments in this company on what I consider to be a rather conservative and rather negative outlook on how much they're going to capture of that market. And I've done the same thing with Xpeng. XPeng, on the other hand, when we're looking at them, they're much further along in terms of their manufacturing process, in terms of vertical integration, and in terms of how many factories they own, the degree of control they have over their manufacturing process, and the fact that anytime they make improvements in their manufacturing process, XPeng is the company ultimately that benefits from those improvements in the form of improved margins. With the case of Nio, that's not necessarily true. JAC is going to be the ultimate beneficiary of manufacturing improvements. Now, in the long run, I think some of those are going to be passed back to Nio. If JAC wants to maintain this close relationship with Nio, they're going to have to adjust the sort of, and I'm sure they did in this new agreement, adjust the sort of rather onerous per vehicle fee that they had before, which was estimated to be roughly $2,700 per vehicle. I haven't read through the new agreement. I've just read the press announcement like everyone has on what their per vehicle fee is for the new agreement with JAC, but it has to be lower in this case because of the work that they're doing as far as vertically integrating their own manufacturing process with the help of local governments. Anyway, the bottom line is here, and what I'm saying with this entire video and this wildly unfocused rant is that I am investing in my higher confidence picks, even though my shares from Lee got called away. I have like 50 shares left, and 200 got sold because I sold covered call. And I'm investing in those higher confidence picks, especially right now, because I think that purchasing at this price 5 years from now is going to look so incredibly and stupidly cheap. The fact that you got shares of XPeng at under $30 a share and shares of Nio at under $40 a share 5 years from now is going to look like one of those moments that you really, really missed. Now, I don't ever like to make a video based on fear of missing out. I don't like to make FOMO videos. And I'm going to say that you are going to have this opportunity between now and the next year to sort of get into this stock. I think that we're going to see improvement in manufacturing process. We're going to see a much greater capacity in terms of how much they can produce. I think we're going to see, because they're investing a lot of money in their sales network too, and they're also Nio and so XPeng and Nio are both coming down that scale and appealing now to wider and wider markets with cheaper and cheaper vehicles that still are great quality vehicles. It means that their customer base is widening and widening and widening. We're going to see a rapid acceleration, not just in production capacity, but in actual sales and adoption of vehicles nationwide across China. I'm excited about their expansion into Europe. I think it's really interesting, but really it's domestic market that's going to make or break both of these companies. And right now, they're both poised to explode. A couple of different reasons. National pride is one of them. I think that these two companies have caught the imagination of the Chinese. Definitely Nio more than XPeng. I think Nio has a definite branding advantage, and I think XPeng has an advantage in terms of its manufacturing ability, in terms of the projects that they're working on right now, research and development, and sort of the direction they're going with autonomous manufacturing too. That's a whole separate video. But Nio, and you can't discount this because this is something that I've discounted many, many times in my investment career at my own detriment. You cannot underestimate the power of brand. Nio is a brand that just translates well across multiple different cultures, whereas XPeng really isn't. Even if you turn that into X Motors or whatever it is, the advantage to branding really goes to Nio in this case. They face some structural issues that give them more challenges than XPeng does, but the branding advantage is really huge. And I can't say that enough, that I've made this mistake a half a dozen times in my investment career where I'm only looking at the technical advantages of something. I'm only looking at the business or manufacturing advantages, and I don't understand the branding aspect of things. And that has been one of my biggest failings as an investor, is not understanding branding, not understanding fashion, and those sort of things. Anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to say about both of these companies right now, that I don't want you to suffer from FOMO. I think you're going to have plenty of opportunities over the next year, year and a half, as we see production of chips ramp up, as we see both of these companies come down the scale in terms of mass market vehicles that they're going to be offering. We see their customer base widen out from those necessarily really expensive but high margin vehicles into those lower margin but mass produced vehicles. And we see this emergence of these two companies in these premium brands coming out of China that we've never seen before. I look forward to seeing the day when these cars are offered here in the United States and across Europe. I want to see how well they compete with our native brands here in the United States. Anyway, I'm very curious about the future. Those are my thoughts on Nio and Xpeng today. I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. If you want to hear more of these rants, also check out my Patreon. It's only $5 a month, and I'd love to see you guys there in our private Discord chat where we have a bunch of really intelligent folks. Anyway, folks, have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.